Round 9. Round 9.
Tough day.
Yeah, today felt like a really long day. I mean, yesterday was one thing, but today felt like...
Yeah. Oh, we were pretty tired for yesterday's video, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we finished like an hour before the game, which might not have been best, but okay.
Yeah.
We went 2-0, which is what counts. I feel like your game is going to be a little bit more memorable than mine.
Yeah, I won a Brilliancy.
Now, we thought that today's video would be like a King's Indian defense kind of tutorial almost.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, my guy actually played e4, so we didn't quite have that.
Well, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's just jump right in. Yeah. What can I say? I think maybe to kind of help the viewers kind of understand where I'm at. I mean, okay, yesterday's, you can imagine, I thought I played a good game, but towards the end of the game, taking some time trouble, do the opening prep, and I mean, I know that as it's been confirmed in the last round pairings, after that, it was impossible to play out.
Right.
So for me, I'm just playing 2 games against anybody. And for those of you guys who haven't been following my ChessSummit, I've been in Europe now for 3 months, and it's been a long trip. And I guess I kind of feel the same way like you would as if you're a college student the week before spring break, and you have classes, and you need to pay attention, but you're thinking about all
the final.
Not the final, not the week before spring break.
Right.
It's like you have all these classes, but you don't have any major assignments or anything.
Yeah.
For me, I guess it was kind of like the graduation goggles, kind of like, I'm going to be home in 4 days for the first time in 3 months, and I got all this stuff to look forward to in Pittsburgh, and a great year coming up. I'm looking forward to my internship, all that. So, I mean, today I wasn't really feeling it. Like, if I had the choice so the team was like, okay, I can give you a half-point buy, the one out, I might have taken it.
Yeah.
And based on how this game went, I think that probably would not have been the wrong decision.
Right.
Unfortunately, piled onto the fact that I lost yesterday to a low player, I got black again today. And so, I mean, I did a little bit of prep. You did a lot more prep than me. I think I helped you do more prep than I did prep for me.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting d4. I mean, I knew he played d4, but he played d4 at the game of this tournament. He had played against us 2011. He actually ended up scoring pretty okay with d4.
But he played e4 today.
He played e4 today. I showed up late. I looked at the board, and I'm walking over to turn in my phone to the arbiter, so that way I can start my game. I look over, and I'm like, we have an e4 game today.
Maybe he messed up.
Well, I highly doubt this. I mean, he had some games in the database where he plays e4. And the nice thing about, if you haven't played a tournament in 4 years and you're coming back and you're only 1700 is you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. There's no pressure on him to win. So he plays e4. And of course, I have a dilemma. Do I play e5 or do I play c5? I looked into his games before, and I think I could have gone for Berlin. But I wanted something just a little bit sharper, something that would maybe pressure him. I saw that he had a game in the mega database against the Sicilian where he wasn't quite sure what to do, and this was at his last tournament in 2011, so I mean, it's been 4 years. I highly doubt things have changed. And so after about 2 minutes worth of thought, I was like, okay, we'll repeat yesterday's game, and of course, I've reviewed yesterday's game to know what I could have done better. In fact, I think I even pointed out a few pointers here in the video.
Yeah.
But of course, my opponent did not want this discussion. There was this momentary, does he want to play the Maroczy binder or not? Nope, knight c3, which is what he played last time, and I'm not surprised. I mean, I think players under 2,000, they don't really have any business playing the
Maroczy
bind.
Their lines, yeah.
I mean, this is a perfectly good system, and I feel like you have to know minimal theory, whereas with the Maroczy bind, you kind of have to know what you're doing. Knight f6 and bishop b2. And actually, funnily enough, I've made a video for chessopeningsexplained.com on this very line, and I'm very comfortable with it. And before the Cherry Blossom Classic Blitz tournament, I think I was like 5.5 out of 6 with it. And the loss that I had at the Blitz tournament was to Raveen Balakrishnan, who's like 2,500.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I don't think I lost because of the opening. It was much later in the game. The problem with this is I haven't committed this pawn to d6, so this isn't a true dragon. And so by not putting the bishop on c4, bishop c4 being main line, of course, I think I mentioned this yesterday, I was ready to put queen a5, and this is theory. The problem with bishop e2 is you haven't stopped me from playing d5. We have a dragon, and if this pawn were on d6, the best move would still be to play d5. Now, of course, I'm going to play it the way I've always played it. I'm going to castle first, wait to hit the castle, and then I play d5. And it's been a while since I've played this line, and I scored pretty well. And he plays bishop f3, which is something I don't even think I've ever studied this line before.
Okay.
So,
but black seems pretty comfortable.
Black is comfortable, but I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, I think arguably black is at most equal. I don't think black is worse. I think black is equal. I mean, the fact he has this one central pawn is a long-term advantage, but as we're going to see, this pawn structure will become fractured regardless of wherever I move my queen. So I feel like against a 2,000 plus rated player, I'm like, okay, if we draw, okay, that's fine. But for today, I kind of wanted to win today, even though mentally I maybe wasn't there. Now, a couple of key pointers. So in the game that I put on ChessOpeningToExplain.com, in that game, White played G4. And so this is a little bit different because D5 was really strong. And usually, players who play this are opting for the Yugoslav. And also D5 here is really strong. Yeah. Now we can see that this pawn on F3 doesn't make sense. It's like a really bad Scotcher that would play F3. I had something like this in Budapest. So all of this is mainline, but of course castling is natural too. D5, E5, Knight D5, Queen D5. I think after Bishop F3, arguably, you can just say White doesn't have the advantage he started the game with, but Black doesn't have anything more than that. So kind of like I said at the end of the round 2 video, when White doesn't play ambitiously, the hardest job for Black is done in the sense that all the opening worries that you had, all the scary lines that White can play, Black no longer has to worry about the second. Right. Black just has to worry about playing chess. And
that's why high-rated players are always happy when their opponent plays a sideline, because they're like, oh, I know I'm going to equalize now. And, right. Like, I feel don't have to worry about super sharp theory.
Right. I feel like my game yesterday was a demonstration of how low-rated players should play against high-rated players, because even though I was actually better out of the opening, I think my opponent, gave me enough practical problems that affected my clock. And of course, the clock is just as big of a factor to the game as the board. And so here, I haven't, if I have studied this position, it's been so long. I looked at Queen A5 and I looked at Queen C4, and I decided Queen C4 would be tricky. The idea is, of course, I want to provoke him to play this with B3, and I play Queen to C3. My queen just did a creepy crawly, my dark squared bishop is glorious, this knight is kind of silly, and okay, even if we get this trade, this bishop comes to A6 or E6, one of these two, and I think
Black is happy.
I'm doing very well. So, Queen C4, this was an over-the-board idea, and he spends a few minutes here, and then he plays Knight C6, BC6, and goes into the tank, and comes out with C3. And I think this is a good place to start, because Black wants to do a lot of things, but only has so many moves. And so I played Bishop F5, which I think is a good move. And let me show you how I got there. In these kinds of structures, I think it would be great to play a move like A5. I would love to play a move like A5. But I kept on having problems with, what was I looking at here? I think I kept on having problems with B3. And then if I take, I think this actually helps White a little bit in the sense that everything just liquidates. And I'm probably, if the bishop takes or rook takes, I think at best this is just going to be quick equality, 4 versus 3. Maybe I can outplay the guy, but this would be insulting to his level of intelligence. Now, so I thought, okay, I would love to play A5, but we can wait till the future. Then I thought, okay, well, this is arguably my biggest weakness in the position. And both of these pawns are targets. So these two bishops are perfectly placed. Wouldn't it be lovely if I could just put my bishop on D5? And if he takes, I'd even be better, but I just want my bishop on D5. So I looked at bishop E6, and I thought this could be okay, but the problem is that he has this move, bishop to E2. And now I don't have a useful square to drop back with my queen. So this was something I found annoying. So I figured, okay, well in this position I probably need to decide what I need to do with my bishop or anything else. I quickly looked at bishop to A6. I wasn't crazy about it because now this is an exaggerated weakness. And furthermore, okay, after like rook to E1, if I want to just continue developing, I think even after queen to B3, I'm having a hard time proving anything. I think even queen C2. With the idea of bishop B2 is good enough.
White is good.
There's a cute tactic, but I think after bishop B2, I think it's just lost. So I take the queen, and I take the rook with check, and then I pick up the bishop. But of course, he's smarter than that. So I had a long think here. I tried to think about what did the C3 move change in the position. Of course, it's blocking my bishop, but it weakens the square. So I thought, okay, what if I, long term, play for here?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, this seems to be the only plan that suggests itself. And okay, at this point in the tournament, I'm also very tired, and I'm not crazy that I have to play this low-rated opponent. So I decided, you know what? Let's play bishop to F5.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to commend my opponent here for playing really solid queens on the board middle game. Because, okay, for one, he chooses queen B3. Of course, I shouldn't trade because this is kind of similar to your game where I think one of your games where he plays queen B6 and you don't want to trade. I think this is excellent for White.
Yeah.
So I can't do this. So queen A6 adjusts itself. And then he plays bishop C5. And now I'm not in time to play this plan anymore because all of his pieces are coming into the game and E7 is an exaggerated weakness. So at this point, I think the engine said I was equal, but I think I would assess it as Black is slightly worse. So here I went to the tank a little bit. I thought about rook e8, but the problem is there's all these tactics where at the end of the line there's this fork on c6. So after bishop c5, I played bishop f6, he played queen a3. I had nothing better than to take. Bishop takes a3, and I played rook a8 with the idea that, okay, if you play like a normal move, I potentially have this idea of playing c5, locking in this bishop. Now I think here he would have rook d1, but okay, I think more specifically I was looking at if you attack the pawn, c5 is very strong, because now I'm locking in this bishop, and you would love to be able to play d4, but then c3 drops. This was my idea. But he, of course, sees this, and of course I saw this too. a5, he plays this move rook a d1, I play rook on f to e8. I'm still thinking about how do I kind of set up this, because if I can get this hold, then it's perfect. I don't really have to calculate that much, and I just do what I want to do. He plays rook d2, and I realize here that if I play e5, maybe I'm not worse, but the problem is that once I play this move e4, this bishop is going to have a hard time finding squares after like a g4 push, or even it's just going to become a lazy pawn. There's no way to play f5 very easily.
Even g3 here for white, e4, bishop g2.
Precisely.
White is happy.
I saw this long-term idea. Oops, not the pawn, but the rook, and then bring the bishop back to f1, and then bring it to c4. Yeah. I thought this was very good for white. So I decided it was time to hold off, and I put this move bishop e6, thinking that the best move for him would be rook on f1 to a1. And I thought this would be a hard move to play, but I felt like this is already a little bit in my favor, and I saw that this tactically works, because if he plays b3, I can take on c3.
I mean, white really has to play rook a1?
He plays a4, but the problem is whenever you move this pawn, you're going to weaken the white squares.
Yeah.
So he played a4.
I mean, a4 is questionable, but yeah, maybe a3 was better.
Yeah, a3 was also okay, but then the thing is you have to worry about, can I play moves like a4 in the future, bishop c4. So I mean, this is something.
I'd rather do that than put my rook on a1.
Maybe.
Just my style.
I mean, I thought...
a4, though, is a serious weakness, I give you that.
I thought that this move was not that great. But I thought maybe he could try to regroup and then just bring another rook like this or like this to defend the c3 pawn.
Wait, I mean, come on. White's best play is to put his rooks on a1 and c1?
No, I'm not saying so, but I think, this was the most natural way to not create weaknesses. I felt like I had to think more after rook to a1 instead of moving the a pawn, because I do get more squares for my bishop. And
yeah, but rook a1, it's like, I mean, what if he just do nothing? He just plays with his rook on a1?
Well, I mean, he's going to have to breathe a little bit, but I mean
eventually he has to move one of his pawns.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just wasn't crazy about this rook d2 move, to be honest. I didn't know what he was trying to achieve. Oops, not that.
Well, he's just trying to double on the default.
Yeah, but there's some lines where I could play e4, e5, and then the bishop isn't well placed on e2. I thought this was interesting. But I mean, ultimately what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to buy time to get this working, and then put the bishop here.
Sure, but as soon as you play e5, he'll come in with rook d6.
Well, no, there's a tactic, because then I play bishop e7 and I pick up this bishop.
Okay.
So everything tactically worked out. Okay, a4, I didn't think this was the end of the world. I played bishop b3. I'm tempting him to play rook d7 and let me pick up his pawn. And the whole point of this is that when he plays bishop d1, I come back to d5, and now he can't play bishop f3. This is the whole point. And now I played a move f4, and I came back to the board, and I was like, wait, what? This wasn't a move I looked at all. And of course the idea is simply, I can't play e5 easily, and I tried to make this line work. Here, and here. But I think at best black is equal, because these are fractured, the position just opened up a little bit. This bishop can relocate, and maybe he can play g3, h4, h5 at the right moment. So I thought white has more options than black. But I played e6, just solidifying my hold in the center. And also what I've just done is I've gotten rid of this weakness, and now because the light squared bishop can't target c6, this isn't really that weak. So I only have the one weakness here on a5. So I was relatively okay with it.
I mean, I don't like what white did at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a4 is a serious
mistake. A4 was definitely a move.
I mean, unless you're going to play b4 very quickly to make a pass pawn, you shouldn't be playing a4 in the position.
Exactly.
Yeah. But a3, I mean, I think white should have preferred that.
Yeah, a3 was definitely good too. But I guess he was just worried about my plan. And this is why he played f4. I mean, this feels like a lashing out kind of move. But okay, bishop to e2, he's a little trapped here. And I decided that if I'm going to trade bishops, I might as well do it on b3. So now I have this, I can't say active rook, because the next move I have to actually activate my rook. But I'm now holding his rook down. So if he plays a move like rook d6, I think first it was important to hold this pawn so he can't get to a6 and then take here. And then there's different ideas, like if he plays bishop a3, not taking immediately, but going here simply, and now his pieces don't make sense anymore, and he's going to lose a pawn. Rook b1, bishop takes c3.
Well, maybe like rook d3 here.
Rook d3. I was trying to find a way if I could just push this pawn. So maybe even instead of here, I could play rook c8. I know I was looking at this with the idea of just playing here, locking in this bishop, and then maybe with the use of playing c4. But all right, bishop a3 is already wrong. He played the right one. I think rook ff2. Okay, so in this position, it'd be nice to be able to double up my rooks and say I have 2 active rooks, but this rook is actually not that active. And what I kept on noticing is I keep on having these problems. So run with 27, rook b7, the position assessment hasn't really changed. He plays king f1, I immediately play h5, just getting space. He plays h3, and then I went to the tank and found bishop f4. The idea is simply that rook f3, I think, which is what he played in the game, is the best way to approach this. But should he play a move like here, I'm actually going to play here.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to start tickling him a little bit. I'm going to come over to b8, and I think b2 is going to be really hard to defend. This rook doesn't have that many great squares because he's got to stay on the second rank if he wants to hold this pawn. And I've alleviated any sort of worries about a mate problem now with h5 and moving the bishop away from f6. So he played this move rook to f3, which is correct. I played rook b8, j3, bishop f6. So it doesn't really look like I've achieved that much, but this rook was a lot more passive on e8. Now it's on b8, and the rook on b3 had fewer squares than it does on b7. So I've very slowly improved. But here I realized that if I do nothing, white will play this move g4, open up the h file, and probably win the game. Or at least seriously
win the game?
Okay, win is extreme. I think with my mental condition, in the sense that I'm extremely tired and I just want to play simple chess, I feel like I would have just crumbled.
I mean, I think both sides are more or less okay here. I mean, if white ever moves his rooks, you just take on b2.
I mean, I have serious problems though, because I mean, okay, like already g5 is coming. Well, regardless of takes or not, g5 and then rook h2. I just felt like this would be really easy to fall apart. You know, not here, but bishop d4. I just felt like this is not what I want to play anymore. This is not what I signed up for.
I mean, you don't have to put your king on d7, but...
Oh, okay, yeah, but I mean, you have to find other waiting moves. For example, I think bishop d8 already runs into some problems if I'm not careful. Like here with d6, and if I play bishop b7, I can't really say that black is playing for a win anymore.
Well, I don't think you're necessarily playing for a win in this position either. I just think it's kind of equal.
I mean, after g5, you could argue that I've got some stuff going.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just
could argue that.
I could argue that, yeah. I mean, what can I say? I mean, in these positions, I feel like white is statically better. And
no, but if you have an active idea, then for sure. I mean, if g5 is good, then it must be the right way to play.
Well, I mean, I came up with g5 because I was looking at e5. Because right now, I just desperately don't want to allow this because I know I'm tired. I didn't really want to play this game today, anyways. And so my thought is, okay, I need to not get into a position where it's just sad. Okay. You know. So I was looking at e5, but I think the problem with e5 is a court bishop d6, and this is. Simply not going to cut it, I don't think. Because at the end of the line, I think he starts playing moves like this. Mm-hmm. It's time to cry. So, but the reason why I was looking at e5 was because I would have loved for this to happen. Because now I play g5, right? So my idea was the opposite. Let's play g5 first. He plays here. Okay, I still get this position I love. And the idea was that I'm going to take here.
Make a pass pawn.
I'm making a pass pawn on the e file. It's protected, and I've activated my bishop. This felt like a lot less sad.
No, if g5 is active, it's the way to play, sure.
It felt like the right way to go. Now, he played bishop d6, and at this point I started to realize how tired I really was. I played rook d8, which is like the only move, but to give you guys a sense of like how tired I was seeing lines like, okay, first I saw bishop e5, and at first I was like, oh, well, just takes, and then I'm stopping him from controlling the file, and then I realized like I'm hanging this with checks, so this is just not good at all. And then I was like, oh, we'll just attack the rook first, so he either has to move it, or take on f6, but if he takes on f6, I take here, and I'm just winning. But then I saw that this is simply just down a piece. So, like, at this point, I'm just like, oh my god, like, I deserve to lose this game.
Yeah, that's when you need to, like, start, like, slapping yourself.
Yes.
Like, wake up.
I actually forced myself to buy a sandwich here and eat it, because at this point, I just realized, like, I probably deserve to lose. And I think after rook takes d2, rook takes d2, here I played bishop b7 because I realized that this is only white can win, I think. Maybe I have some f6 play, but only white can win. I was ready even after f6, he uses I didn't really want to calculate all this.
No, you're fine here. I mean,
I'm probably
you have
fine.
to play like maybe king g7.
Yeah, I was looking at king g7, but I thought this plan was just too easy, and I felt like black.
Put your rook on c7.
No, but I mean at this point now, black is playing bunker down.
Or no, you take on b2, and then white's pawns are weak.
Yeah, white's pawns are weak, but like, can I get to the a pawn in time?
No, you're happy here because if you win the e5 pawn, then you can have a bunch of pass pawns.
This is true. Okay, yeah, maybe.
No, it should be close to a draw.
Close to a draw, but I don't want to draw.
I know, but you're not in trouble.
I played bishop e7. I was half expecting him to take here, so I have to waste another tempo. But he plays king e2, so I played f6. He plays bishop d4, I played king f7, fg5, fg5. He plays bishop e5, I played bishop f6. Now I'm okay with the trade because now my king's going to be in e5, and this is great. He plays bishop e6, and immediately I played e5 thinking this. And when I played this move, I realized I just allowed b4 to happen. And I was like, oh, this is like the same category of mistake that I played with Alina, where I put this pawn on the same color as my bishop, and now my bishop is garbage. But I think it's actually okay because during the game I realized I just don't do anything. Like, I'm always inviting him to take here. Meanwhile, my king is coming in. I think, yeah, maybe white's the only side playing for a win now, but black is certainly not busted.
Yeah, you have some play.
But it was just the fact that I missed b4. It's like, oh my goodness, like...
yeah, he should have played that for sure.
He should have played it. Now he played bishop c5, and I was pretty sure the only reason why he played this was so he has this line. And I think white is simply cruising.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is all he saw. But what he missed was that I have bishop e7 first. Trades, and then goes here. Of course, this should still be equal, but I think this actually gets very complicated now because white messed up immediately. I mean, keep in mind, I've presented him with, even though I felt like I haven't exactly been playing great, I have been presenting him with problems the whole game, and eventually he is going to crack. Now, I thought he should have played rook d8. And then originally what I was looking at was, in my original analysis, I was seeing these lines, and this is great for black. I'm going to pick up this guy, I'm going to pick up this guy. Yeah. Maybe it's a draw, but I have no losing chances. But then I realized, wait, he's got this move. So then I was trying to figure this out. And for a second I panicked because I was like, oh, maybe I'm lost here. So I went back to the drawing board here in this position. I was like, okay, do I need to play a move like rook b8? But then I think he simply plays rook f2, and I think he's close to getting something serious.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, rook f7 has to work, or else I'm just dead lost. But it's hard to believe that black is just lost in this position. So I looked, and here I was going to play this move rook f2. The idea being that, of course, he cannot take this pawn anymore. So this is my idea. I think the computer evaluated this around equal. Of course, I don't really care what the computer had to say. This kind of felt a little bit desperate. I thought maybe b4 could have been interesting too. And my conclusion here was, okay, the game is unclear. This is the best case scenario I found so far. But I got lucky. He played b4, and now the game blows open. I played this move h4. Of course, I'm inviting this trade. So he takes here, but what he doesn't realize is he just weakened the f4 square, just like in the other line, that his rook is not nearly as active. So I played rook f4, king e3, rook takes h4. And finally, for the first time in the whole game, I was able to calculate more than 2 moves deep. So I was very, very relieved I broke that threshold. He played b5, which I thought was confirming that he lost the game. Now, the computer seems to think that if he plays rook h2, maybe he has something. But I think this is...
Should take on a5 probably.
This is difficult to hold. If he takes on a5 in this position, I knew I'm always coming behind the pawn. But I also thought this was a viable option because I'm also picking up c3. But I think, would have just taken.
So then rook g2.
Rook g2. And the thing is, I'm going to play here.
Here. Check.
Check. And now I've just relocated my king.
a6.
a6. I'll take this guy.
King e4.
King e4. And we're probably going to get rid of the draw, I think.
Yeah, it should be a draw. But maybe you can take on h3 instead to play for a win.
Yeah, maybe. I would have to see this a little bit more. Rook h3. I think I was looking at this too.
King e4.
King e4. I think if he goes here, he's going to lose the pawn again because I'm in the square. So takes. Here. Oh, and then I just check. Yeah, this is simple enough. So he's going to go here. And now I can just go here. He can't push the pawn, funnily enough. Yeah, this has got to be a win.
Should be winning.
Should be winning.
Yeah.
I mean, this pawn is meaningless.
You pose some problems.
Yeah, I mean, I pose some problems, but of course, the most natural line I think in this position is what he played because in his mind, he's going to play b6, and then I don't have this square. But this is what I calculated. Rook h3.
But he's losing a lot of pawns.
King e4. Well, he's losing by force. Takes, and now you realize he's lost because if he plays here, I'm going to get here, and I just get here, and he's going to lose this endgame. And before, if he had played here, I can simply just trade rooks, take on b5, I'm in the square, and this pawn are so far apart.
Right.
You don't even need to calculate it. So you play king e4, takes, goes here, rook a2, which is probably second best. Check. Okay, now this is kind of like a resignation. I thought he should have played here, at which point I have to play this intermediate move. But then I thought, okay, Like maybe we're talking now because I don't have a4 as easily. Maybe I have to go here, and the idea is that simply I just bring my king behind pawn. So like if he plays rook b2, I'm simply going here. If he plays b3, I go here, and I'm just in time to get in front of the pawn, which should be enough to win the game. And whenever he brings a rook, of course, I'm going to get in front. I'm going to pick it up. I can sack one of these pawns. Probably this guy's the one I want to trap.
Right, it's a3.
And b5. Now, amusingly, okay, we reach this endgame. And up here he resigns. The sad part for him is if everything had just been shifted one file over, it would have been a theoretical draw.
Theoretical, but very hard to hold.
Very hard to hold. I actually had someone hold that against me once at the World Open.
Really?
Yeah, 1800 player. He held it perfectly.
Wow.
So, what can I say? Endgames. So this game I thought was semi-instructive because I didn't really calculate that deep at any point during the game, except for the last part, this last part right here. But just by constantly posing problems and looking for the best ways to activate my pieces, I took an equal. I maybe got a slightly worse position, made it equal, and then eventually ground him out for a win.
Yeah, you kept the pawn structure pretty dynamic, so you always had chances.
I think this G5 moment was pretty crucial, because otherwise I think I'm just going to get outplayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I told you as soon as I found you, as soon as the game was over, it's like, you know that feeling where you win a game but you're almost ashamed of it?
Right.
Yeah, I think that I would put this game in that category.
Yeah. But you needed it. You needed this one.
I needed a win. I feel like if I lost today, all bets are off for tomorrow.
Right.
Tomorrow, I'm probably going to have to take a little bit more seriously now, because finishing at 50% is very respectable here. So, okay. I won, maybe not in the fashion I would have liked, but you got to take a win sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
But of course, you had a win in the fashion that everybody wants, so I think this is what we're here to see. So let's go ahead and pull this guy out.
Yeah. Well, I won a pretty brilliant game. I mean, it wasn't that brilliant. Honestly, I just got pretty lucky with the preparation today. But I'm playing International Master from Iceland, Kjartansson, Gudi. And we got a King's Indian. And he played the classical main line, which he almost always goes for. Honestly, I thought this was a pretty bad, actually, practical choice for him. If he looked at my games, he would have seen that I'm mainly playing knight a6. I played knight bd7 once or twice, and I've only played knight c6 once. Actually, the game that I did play, I played at the Isle of Man International, and it was one of my best wins ever.
Oh.
So I only had one game. It was against a French international master.
Oh, wow, okay.
But it was a really nice game. It actually put me in norm contention. So when I played it today, I think he should have smelled the rat and realized that I'm, going to be very well prepared here. Personally, I think maybe the Fee and Keto or just a different choice would have been more practical in this game because although I didn't prepare a whole lot, I was recording round 8, right?
Yeah.
But the lines that I did prepare are very, very sharp, and White is in a lot of danger if he forgets something. Also, since he most likely didn't review this today, then at this point I think he needs to have a second option, so he's not just already committed to go into one of the sharpest lines in all of chess.
Right.
In any case, okay, so d5 is basically the only move, 97. Now White has a bunch of choices here. There's b4, the famous bayonet attack, knight e1, knight d2, even king h1 is a move, a4, I mean, so many options. He plays knight e1, which he's played actually every single game he's had this line. I played knight d7. This is the famous Mar del Plata variation, where black is just pushing f5, f4, g5, white is pushing c5 and trying to break through.
Right.
Bishop e3, also popular as knight d3, but he plays this, f5, f3, f4, bishop f2, g5. All of this is mainline theory. Now White has a choice. He has rook c1 and knight d3, as well as like even b4 and a4 are moves.
Right.
A lot of times these lines do transpose to each other. He played knight d3 in this game. He played knight g6. He played c5, knight f6. So I'm just going all out on the kingside attack. And he plays rook c1 here, threatening to take, knight b5, and come in knight c7. Not necessarily to win the rook on a8, but actually to drop the knight on e6, where it really wants to go.
Yeah, if White can open up these positions even just a little bit, especially create a weakness in d6, usually black is busted. But if black is fast enough to get everything moving, then, usually you get something big.
Yeah, if White can open the queenside or he'd easily trade both of these pawns for this one just to open the queenside up, where all of black's pieces are unable to fight. Okay, I play rook f7. This is the theoretical move. Now I'm covering c7 in advance. And I'm preparing a very well-known maneuver in the King's Indian, bishop f8 to defend d6 and rook g7 to put pressure on the g file. Here white has a choice, and he played the theoretical move, king h1. So this move has been seen before in quite a number of high-level games. He himself has actually played it against I think Grandmaster Kovalov, which is a game I used to prepare. Most famously, this was seen in the game Wesley So versus Nakamura in the Sinquefield Cup 2015, where Nakamura won in absolutely brilliant style. So that game was very, very serious help.
And if you guys actually want to see that game, I've analyzed it for ChessSummit viewers and ChessSummit.com.
Oh, no way, I have no idea.
So I believe I wrote this in 2015 in my pep talk, basically saying Nakamura is the best player going into candidates. So that game is in there along with a few others if you guys want to check that out.
Nice. Yeah, one of the interesting things Naka said about that game, so I played h5, is that a lot of times the computer will favor white in these kinds of positions, but this isn't a very practical or human assessment. And in fact, it's oftentimes going to be a lot easier for black to play this kind of position because black's plan is very, very straightforward. And if black succeeds, then he's going to checkmate white, basically.
Right. Whereas if white succeeds, he's maybe winning a pawn and has a small positional edge on the queen side.
Right. Okay, so in the previous game that Kjartansson played and in the So Nakamura game, they both took on d6 and played knight b5. Then after black played a6, Goody played knight a7, which turns out to not be a good move. Like bishop d7 and the knight is obviously misplaced here. And Wesley, I think, played knight a3, threatening to come to c4 and b6, which would be good. So Naka plays b5. And I don't remember exactly how their game went, but Naka played bishop d7, queen f8, and eventually broke through g4.
Right.
And won, amazingly. By the way, not the first time that Nakamura has won in this kind of setup in the King's Indian. His game against Gelfand from the Olympiad is, I think, his first immortal masterpiece, where he leaves his queen hanging for like 6 moves straight. He's also beaten Kramnik in this line. He's beaten Anand in this line. He's just basically beaten everyone.
Yeah, well, Nakamura, he's the guy for the King's Indian now.
He's the absolute. I have to give him full credit for this game because all of the ideas I learned from him basically, and just from going over his games and just seeing like what kind of lines he's preparing. In this game, though, white played knight b5, which has also been seen before. And the improvement is that if I play a6, he goes back to a3. He hasn't committed to taking yet, so I can't play b5. And then he wants, he'll take on Kassan, and that's bad for black. So he'll play knight c4, and then he'll take, and then he'll play knight b6, pick up the light-squared bishop. And if black doesn't have this light-squared bishop, then he'll never be able to sacrifice it on h3, as he often needs to in these lines.
Right.
Basically, a lot of times white is willing to give up a rook for this light-squared bishop, because that's how important it is to black's position.
Now, is this knight b5 move in your prep?
Yeah. So this is still known. I think Shirov had at least 1 or 2 games like this. I believe he beat Rajabov in a game. I'll show him in just a little bit. I played the move g4 here, because now I'm ready to play g4. He takes on d6, and he plays queen c2. Now there's actually one game where white played knight takes a7 right here, black played bishop d7, and queen b3. And this is similar to what we'll get in the game, except the knight is on f6 instead of e8. I believe this was played with black by Mark Hebden, who's this English grandmaster, who I don't know much about, but he's played a lot of these King's Indian games, so I always see his name in the database, and he has some very, very nice games. So I imagine he understands these positions very well. So he played g3 and h4 and got a nice attack. I think that game was drawn, I think, or maybe he won. It doesn't matter. I understood the ideas.
Right.
But here, queen c2 was played, and I think this is, again, the theoretical move. And, this is the problem of going for the principal main line, is that this was the main line of my analysis. And so since I reviewed it today and white didn't, I have this huge practical advantage because I'm just aware of all the different variations. And I'm not even making a move of my own yet, I'm just following Stockfish. And it just also makes it very, very predictable. So unless he's fully prepared to play this, I think it would have been wiser just to play something a little bit different where obviously I'm not armed to the teeth.
Right.
Okay, so this move is threatening knight c7. Black is forced to play knight e8. Now he took on a7, bishop d7, and queen b3. Oh, I should mention the Shirov game. In that game, black did not play knight e8, he actually played g3, and white played knight c7. And the point was, after the exchanges, white is actually giving up 2 pieces here for the rook. But the endgame that we get is rook on c7 is absolutely dominant. And these pieces, without any attacking chances, are completely terrible.
Right, black is completely paralyzed.
Yeah, so Shirov played this way. Maybe he didn't play knight f2. I'm not sure if I got the exact ones right, but he played this way against Reykjavik and just converted, effortlessly. And Reykjavik is a King's Indian, master. So that is white's idea. So knight e8 is a much better move to keep the attacking chances alive. Now he finally took on a7. I think he kind of has to get his play going. Bishop d7, queen b3. Whoops.
Yeah, I think I saw your board at this point, and I was trying to figure out what the last moves had been at this point, because I think when you just randomly see this position, you're like, wait, who just took on a7? What just happened?
Yeah.
But it seems like white has a lot going on the queen side, but in reality, the pawn is not that important when the king is getting checkmated.
Yeah, now I'm getting g3 and bishop g1, and here I finally played my novelty, bishop f8. So this is move 22. This is the first new move of the game. And this is the main line, I was analyzing before the game. I, as they say, had this position on my computer right before the game.
Right.
The funny moment was when he played queen c2 here. Of course, I knew this was the main line, but I wanted to hint a little bit that I didn't know the position. So I started feigning like I was thinking here, and I spent, a couple minutes trying to figure out what should I play?
And I believe that's a tip you learned from a guy who you went to Reykjavik with last year.
Oh yeah, Mr. Tom Riccardi. That's his specialty too.
And now he's the University of Pittsburgh Board 1, so we play the same dynamics team together. It's a small world.
The idea is you don't want to tip your opponent off when you're well prepared, otherwise they'll be extra careful, right? You want to give them a sense of a sense of security that is false. So here I was thinking even if I don't win the game, I definitely deserve an Oscar for the way I was acting. Because I really just I tried to remember it first, and then I looked down, and then I started, thinking, and then...
Now, I might be wrong about this, but I think you recorded a video for chess.com about a year and a half ago of what you should look like after you blunder.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that was the first 3 or 4 faces that you gave in that video.
That was a very serious advice for what to do when you blunder, and if you pretend that you didn't blunder, right? That's the only way to save face.
Exactly.
Here, this one is actually useful because I want to catch him off guard.
Great.
Okay, so after g3, of course he can't take because the knight on a7 is hanging. But even if he could, a lot of times black just gets great compensation with h4 anyways. But here, okay, knight is unprotected. So bishop g1, bishop f8. And the story behind this move is that I left my computer on for 20 minutes, and then it said this move leads to 0.00. All other moves, white is getting some edge.
Right, and 0.00 usually in a position like this means something magical is about to happen.
It means, from my analysis, what I remember is that black is getting some kind of perpetual with best play. But from a human point of view, it's very hard to play this position with white because it's just so easy to mess up. A move like h3 is just losing immediately to queen h4, followed by bishop takes h3, and white is just lost. He cannot take the b7 pawn here because this lines up his queen against my rook. This is actually something I didn't prepare, but I had to calculate over the board. I realized, okay, bishop h3 is winning. And the point is that not only is his queen hanging, but I'm also threatening to mate him with bishop takes d2 and knight h4 check.
Oh, that would have been a really nice mate.
Yeah. This is, by the way, very, very similar to the Nakamura-Gelfand game. That he had a lot of these ideas. Or if king h3, I didn't even calculate. I assumed I'm just going to mate him here.
This is. I feel like you don't calculate this. I feel like you just Colgar mate puzzle style.
I don't even. Okay, bishop d8. And I don't even see the mate.
Bishop d8 is too fast.
It should be.
Wait, couldn't you have just played rook g7, queen h3?
Oh, right. Yeah,
there you go.
I missed mate in one. Yeah, rook g7 and then.
Or just queen h3 in this position too. Yeah. instead of rook h7.
Right. Yeah, it's always better to give mate with checks.
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't calculate that until just now, right? But that is my main idea. So this pawn is definitely poisoned. I didn't remember during the game what the best line is for white. I just know that my plan is to take on h2 and then push h4, h3 and try to open up the king. And then put the queen on g5. And I don't think black necessarily has to remember everything here because the ideas are just very straightforward, especially for a King's Indian player. A lot of this stuff is pretty natural. Rook comes to h7 or g7. This knight eventually can even come to h5 and g3. And the position more or less plays itself. He played rook d1, which I think is a mistake. Apparently the best move is knight e1 according to the engine. And then after takes, bishop f2 or bishop b6 is possible. I think bishop f2 makes sense. H4 and black is getting some play.
What's the point of knight e1? Like, what makes it the best move in the position?
Oh, so white's idea is that he puts the knight on e1 to protect g2 and all these tactics, especially when h3 is played. He opens up the bishop, so on some lines there's bishop b5 trying to trade off these pieces. And it's important actually to kind of block his rook in because white's plan a lot of times is play king takes h2, rook h1, king g1 in order to defend the king side a little bit, rook h2. But I feel like this position is just good for black because white has to find these very precise defensive maneuvers. If he's not armed to the teeth with preparation, it's going to be very hard for a human. I mean, Kjartansson is 2460, he's a very strong player, but like he just wasn't up to the task. It's just a very difficult position. I think a lot of grandmasters would not enjoy this with white.
Correct.
So apparently that was best. But he played rook d1. I think that makes sense. Because he wants to play here and maybe not lock his rook in. But, I mean, I think the rook will be useful.
I mean, I feel like this is I used to play the King's Indian a lot. I mean, I noticed when they bring back like the knight to e1 with the two rooks on the queen side, usually that's a huge detriment because it blocks off like the rooks and the queen. Like the rook, once the knight goes to e1, the bishop on e2, and the knight on e1, they block open the e file. So there's only one square all the pieces you can get through, and it's e3, and of course it's covered by your pawn.
Yeah. I mean, his idea is also to put the bishop on f1, but yeah, it's hard for white in this position. Yeah, everything is blocked off, so a lot of times black just has mate. Okay, I took on h2, and so he uses this pawn as an umbrella, so I don't get to his king. And here I started thinking for real for the first time.
So I guess now you're out of your prep.
Yeah, I mean, I basically knew I was most likely going to play h4 because that's the most natural move, but I was just thinking if there's anything else, maybe queen g5. I was just looking for a reason why h4 might not be so accurate, but I didn't find anything. So I was also looking for a way to break through, and there are some nice lines here. I thought maybe he wanted to play bishop f1, and then I would probably play queen g5 here. And my idea is to play rook g7, h3, knight h4, and if he never takes this pawn on h2, I'm going to use it long term with a queen g1 takes and I queen with mate. So I felt like I'm getting pretty good attacking chances here. If he takes this pawn on h2 now, I always have tricks like rook takes a7, and my queen gets to g3 with check. And I think, very, very scary for white, this kind of position. Yeah, it has to go back, and then I just play here, and like rook h7, I take, bishop h3, knight h4.
You can only use your h-pawn as a shield for so long.
Yeah, and I imagine black is breaking through here. Kasparov famously said, like, okay, a lot of players are afraid to sacrifice material, but you need to cut the board in half and see who has more pieces on the king side. And then like, okay, black is a strong attack because he has so many more pieces, especially in a locked center. It's like, okay, white is up in exchange nominally, but none of these pieces are contributing to the king side. So clearly, it's not hard to evaluate that black has a really dangerous attack. Okay, he ended up taking on h2 right away, which I think is smart because now he opens up his rook to come to h1 and king goes back to g1.
Right.
But then clearly this rook d1 is almost a waste of a tempo, which in these kinds of positions is
very critical.
Yeah, it can be bad. Well, now I play queen g5. I was also considering just playing h3 here. I wasn't sure exactly what the difference in move order is, but the position just looked really nice for me already. So I play queen g5, and he kind of blunders here with queen takes b7. So he takes this pawn and makes it more or less easy for black because I have a forced win. I thought during the game that the critical move would be rook h1. And I was calculating h3 to see what kind of lines here. I might also be able to sack on a7. And there was one nice line here, I hope I can remember it, where I play h3, threatening mate, so he has to play bishop f1. And because his rook is on h1, I can play rook h7, and I'm threatening h2.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah. And to me, this looked good. I also have like moves like knight h4, knight takes f3 that could be just winning on the spot.
Right.
I mean, this game was kind of interesting to play because I had a lot to calculate here, but I also just felt like, man, I feel like almost in every single position, black has so many options, and I'll just let him figure out what defense is best, and then I'll look for something forced.
Right.
So
this is what happened when you played queen takes b7.
Yeah, queen b7, then, I mean, okay, of course I already had in mind what I'm going to do, because if I don't, then I'm potentially losing the game, because he can take this rook.
Right.
But it wasn't too hard to figure out, I should say. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a tough position for white. I mean, we were like trying to analyze over the board after the game, but like without an engine, it's so hard for humans. It just feels like black is forced to win. Like I have h3 coming, rook h7, just so many options.
Right.
Okay, so he played queen takes b7. Oh, and I would encourage the viewers, if you're curious, like, download the PGN of this game. It's on Chess24 and analyze with yourself, because I'm sure the Chess24 engine, no offense, guys, but it's just not strong enough to handle this kind of position. Like, it's probably just giving like equal until white is lost. Just equal,
really?
equal.
You think so?
Yeah, because it doesn't, with the closed center computers, weak computers, they have a tough time evaluating what's going on, because they don't just say like, oh, black has good attacking chances. Either they see a forced win or white is fine. Where here it's like, white is in big trouble.
So you think there's a forced win that the computer can't find?
At this point, no, what I mean to say is that they have a horizon problem. So it's like, after queen takes b7, it'll find the forced win for black. And then after another move, it'll find a forced win. But in this position with white to play, it just doesn't see that far ahead because there's so many different variations.
Okay.
I mean, that's not, okay, obviously if you reach a high enough depth, the computer starts seeing quite a lot. But in these positions, as I'm sure Nakamura will tell you, like, in so many positions it even gives white an advantage, and then black plays one natural move and like, oh, you're lost actually. Sorry, my bad. So
I think Gelfand had this complaint about. No, it was Korchnoi who had this complaint about computers, where he was like, computers are great when you're doing analysis with them, but sometimes they're really finicky and they don't have to pay the price for it. You have to pay the price for their inadequacy.
That's true, yeah. So here there is an easy way for black to just blunder terribly, and that would be trying to use this right away and playing the move bishop h3. Looks great because I'm threatening main and one, right? But white gives up the queen.
Oh, and then he takes an h3?
Takes an h3 with the pawn, and black has 0 attack.
Wow.
Rook is coming to g1, and now these pieces are terrible. So white has rook and bishop and 2 pawns for the queen, so material-wise he's out, but positionally he's just crushing. Like knight comes to c6 and he just runs the pawns down the board.
This is like an even worse version of that Shirov game you just showed us.
Yeah, exactly. And black has lost a lot of games this way, where like white gives up some material, even like an exchange or even a queen, and then black runs out of attacking ideas and it's game over. Okay, maybe if I could teleport my knight to g3, I'd have something, but this would be...
this isn't Doctor Who.
It'd be tragic if I do all this work on preparation and I waste it on a move like bishop h3.
Right.
Okay, so h3 was the right square, but pawn h3 is much stronger.
Right, this is much better. I guess either way you'll make Chess24, right?
I hope so. I was looking, but they didn't. There are other games going on, for them to highlight. So queen takes rook is a big no-no. I'll take on g2. If he takes on h3, I have a couple options here. I think rook h7 was pretty convincing, like bishop f1, and I can just take here now, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how clear this is. I feel like I have more play here because...
Don't you have rook takes a7 at the end of this line?
Oh, exactly. I have rook a7 and queen g3.
Just in time. And if he doesn't take the rook, you just bring the other rook over and you say hello.
Yeah. Okay, he has to leave the rook alone, but now he has only a rook for the queen, and then I have more open files to work with.
Right.
So this should be good for black. I think I had something else as well. I might be able to just take right away also, because if he takes here, I take, takes, and then again I have rook a7.
Right, so the difference here is that the h file is open, whereas in the other position it's closed.
Yeah, so white's king was perfectly safe, and now it's just lost.
Right.
I thought maybe he wants to play rook g1 here, but I believe if nothing else, I take on g2, I give rook h7 check, and then queen h5 is one option, although king f1, the king starts running away, but I also have this, queen g2, bishop h3, king h2.
This is too much material.
The point is I take on b7. Okay, if he could just keep, teleport knight to c3, he's okay, but I also take here.
Right.
And so I'm up a rook. So that's too much for 2 pawns. So that's not really working for him. And the only other option is what he played in the game, which is g4 or g3, leads to the same thing. And this is what he blundered. I take on g3, bishop takes g3. Now earlier he couldn't do this because the knight on a7 was hanging, but now the queen is protecting it. But here I just have only one winning move, and it's enough. Queen e3. Hitting the bishop on e2 with check, and hitting the knight.
Oh, there you go.
So white is losing a piece. I think, practically speaking, because taking the rook just loses immediately, I think he realized he's lost here and just kind of more or less gave up. But, rook e1 is the only move to keep the game going, just to give up the piece. But, he only has 2 pawns for it. His king is still very, very weak.
Right, and those 2 pawns are still on a2 and b2, so they're really far behind.
Not going anywhere. I'm just like, rook g7 is coming, knight I still have this huge attack. White has no counterplay here, so it's definitely lost. I don't blame him for not wanting to go into this. Okay, he ended up taking the rook on e8, so I'm sacrificing an exchange, but his position ends up being very weak.
Do you think he let you take on e8 to give you a shot at the Brilliancy prize? Because I remember we were talking with Eugene Gerolstein the other night, and he was 2 moves away from me having a serious Brilliancy prize.
Right.
The guy resigns.
He had the beautiful mate, but the guy didn't let him put it on the board. I don't know. I think, at least, okay, you take some material, and then if I screw up, he has some chances.
Right.
It's hard to say when you're dead lost, what option you should take. I'm not sure if he was really caring about my Brilliancy prize or not, but the game did end very nicely, so I thank you to him for that. He played knight f2. Now queen takes f3 looks really natural with our mate, but then rook g1 and everything's covered. Rook takes f3 is a lot stronger because I'm threatening here and to take here. And his position collapses. In the game he played rook f1, which is, actually I think the computer was saying this is forced mate in 11 at this point. I was expecting rook g1. I thought this was the best try. Now if I take here, black is for sure winning. I now have 3 pieces for 2 rooks, and his king is so open. I think a move like bishop g4 is just game over, because I have queen f3 check, for example. But I found something even stronger. I actually take on g3. So rook g3, I take on f2 with check. This pawn on h3 ends up being so strong in all these lines.
Yeah.
King h1, I take here, and now I have 3 pieces for 1 rook. So that's not good. But the real point is that after king takes, I can give check and pick up the knight, but even stronger and much more poetic is bishop h6, threatening this mate. And so, just a nice way to win, because this bishop is always so passive. This bishop is considered the king's Indian bishop, right? The glorious steed. But in these lines, the bishop always ends up just a total donkey, right? When the bishop does come out, it's always crushing for black. So this would be a nice way to end the game, and white has no way of avoiding mate. But he played rook f1. And this is still good. And he just resigned in this position. After king takes, I'm meeting him with checks. Check and queen f4. And wherever he goes, I just have mate. And queen d2.
Alright, the ultimate meet and greet.
Meet and greet, I like that. Or king g1. Queen d3. Actually, it was funny. So we went over the game, then I walked into the commentary room with Simon and Fiona. And as I walked in, it was actually 20 minutes after my game ended, they were on this position, they were showing the game. And then I walked in, I said hello, and they were like, oh, there he is. And then here, they're just showing the last moves, and then Simon's like, okay, and finally black played rook takes g3, and after, let's see, in this position.
Yeah.
And now white resigned, because after king takes, there's he got kind of stumped for a second. And he's like, what was it? And I'm like, queen e3, just making a check. Oh, right. I was just testing you. So that was quite a funny moment. So, I mean, it's every King's Indian player's dream to give up the rook on the corner and then deliver a mate like this.
Well, I mean, I think you deserve this after having your game with Josh Friedel early in the tournament. I mean, it's a rite of passage to play b6. It's also a rite of passage to destroy a player like this.
Yeah, right. Like,
beautiful. I can think of good King's Indian wins that had, but not nearly as strong of opponents as you've had, or with the amount of prep. So
right.
This was really impressive to watch.
I only played 9 moves out of preparation, right? But
I feel like there were 9 hard moves, right? It wasn't like Shabalov playing Jeffrey Zhang at the U.S. Chess Championships, where it was just like 6 moves out of 1 position. I mean, you said that even yourself, it's still 0-0-0 at the end of your prep.
Yeah, I definitely had to find some lines, and it was pretty nerve-wracking at the game, because I'm looking at the position. I know white has some defense, but it's like, man, what is he going to do here? I got to say, full credit goes to Hikaru Nakamura, because I've just studied a bunch of his games in this line, and he's demonstrated all these gorgeous ideas for black. I mean, he's truly like the champion of this structure here, I have to say. Just so good.
Well, this was a really nice game in contrast to last night's game, because last night's game was obviously a different example of opening preparation. Having prep against me, but it seemed like when you did your prep, I mean, it was like all these Grandmaster games with engine best moves, but practically, okay, here's what's going on.
Right.
And that was a lot, like, just by watching over, the wide range of your moves is a lot more natural and a lot more effective than maybe what my opponent yesterday was trying to do.
Yeah, I'm just, not just following the engine's best line. I mean, I am in sharp positions, but then choosing the lines, it's very important to have this like human eye of like, okay, what's going to be useful to play.
Well, I mean, like for example, like your bishop f8 move, which was like ultimately your novelty. I mean, it's a very clear reason why you want to play bishop to f8, and it goes in sync with everything else that you've done. So
yeah, always secures d6 and allows the rook to come in all these lines, which ended up being useful.
Right. So good prep, good results.
Yeah, well, round 10 tomorrow.
Round 10.
Finally.
You have another IM tomorrow. I know you wanted to play Andreykin or one of the big guys.
Like in the same score group, but Shurov, Belyavsky, my namesake.
Jobava
also has 6.5. Yeah, I wanted any one of these guys, but I have to settle for a international master.
Measly 2,500 international master. Well, I mean,
so
you have white tomorrow, though.
I do have white.
There's not that much to complain about. I'll have white too, finally. Wow, it's been forever since I've had a game with white. But yeah, we're going to have a nice round 10 to close things out. Hopefully, it'll be on a more positive note for the both of us than negative, but we're open to learning something new, regardless of how it goes. And so until the tournament closes tomorrow, I mean, I guess this is goodbye for now.
Signing off.
Signing off.